I set this? Over there. Over here? Yeah, I got enough room.
Excuse me? Can we have your attention? Okay. They're ready to start feeding us. So if you'd like to make your way to the buffet line, they're open on both sides. And grab your plate and find your seats, and we will get this started shortly.
at the far end.
No, he did. I told him no.
Oh, please. He's not me. Besides over
I
here.
told him no. How did Tommy do that? Why do I have this? He was watching Tennessee. Is this live, I wonder?
If you could get your food and take your seats, we're going to get the program started in about 2 minutes. And go ahead and eat, but please keep the conversation down so that we can get this program going so you're not here till all hours of the night.
We're used to it. She's taking pictures.
While we're waiting, if you haven't been to the booth in the back for Mirko, the miraculous canine, please visit the booth sometime tonight. Angela Barton wrote this book, and it's pretty awesome. All the proceeds go for our canines. So if you get a chance, please visit the booth in the back. Tell them you're doing great.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to announce the board members of the Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation. To my right, Dr. Tom Tucson. Next to Doctor is our Chief of Bakersfield, California Police Department, Chief Lyle Martin. Captain of the Highway Patrol, Scott Lucher. Retired Sheriff's, I think it was Commander, Stan Moe. The Mayor of Bakersfield, Mayor Kern, go. Thank you, Mayor. Vice President, Mr. Rasmussen, Dave Rasmussen. To my left, the shy Sheriff of Kern County, Donnie Youngblood. Our President, Angela Barton. Person that everyone knows, Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk. We just found out at the table that he is a deputy. I'd hate to be arrested by him. And I'm past President John Busby. That's the vacant seat. And then we have Commander, retired Commander Frank Williams. Frank is very instrumental in giving us input in past events and everything. Just very, very good. We appreciate you, Frank. And then we have Tom Sheets of Young Nichols. Stand up, Tom. He was past president, and he got us into, myself and Angela, into the foundation. Well, I tell you, just to see this tonight, just fantastic. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'd like to do the presentation of the colors. Oh, excuse me. Other board members of the Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation, would you please stand?
Michael Bowers. You see Michael Bowers out there?
Michael Bowers, thank you for coming.
And then we have, I just don't want to miss anybody because everybody's so vital to the board. Right there, Brent.
Okay, let me read the list real quick. Richard Fanucchi, Stan Moe, which is already Tom Sheets, Charlie Fivecoat. If you're here, Charlie, please stand. Frank Williams. Becky Greer. Becky, where are you? Oh, she's in the back. Becky, thank you. She's instrumental. She's behind the scenes, too. Kim Johns. Michelle Chantry. Thank you, Michelle. Randy Harden. The guy with a cowboy hat over there. Brian Smith, retired CHP commander. Brian, please stand. There he is. Bill Arns. Tommy Tucson, which you've already introduced. G. Riar, where are you? Lisa Boydston. Chris Parlier. And Adam Chase, Channel 23. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce the honor guards, please. Would everyone stand? State Senator Andy Videk, would you please come up for the flag salute?
Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kim Maccabee, would you come up, please, sing the national anthem?
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming. Bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the land of the free
Bakersfield, they need to get her on The Voice. She's good. The next person I'm going to introduce is Pastor Jehoshaphat Jordan. Pastor, would you come up? My twin brother and I, we attend a Bible study every Tuesday morning, and he's one of the participants. And just a very, very good man. Actually, he's a chaplain with the Bakersfield Police Department. Pastor Jehoshaphat Jordan.
Let us pray. Gracious and eternal God, we come before you with thanksgiving, honor, and praise. Father God, we ask if you would look on the brave men and women of law enforcement, cover them with the blood of the Lamb, protect them from all hurt, harm, and danger. Father God, we would also ask that you would bind us together as a community. Bind us together in love, peace, and harmony. Father God, as we come before you with this prayer, we would ask you to continuously look on us and bless us as you've done so in the past, and allow your will to be done in our lives. And we give you praise and honor for that. In Christ's name, thank God. And we all said, amen. Thank you.
Our President, Angela Barton.
Welcome. This has been quite an adventure planning this. I am so proud to be a part of Kern County, Bakersfield. It's because of all of you. It's because of the sponsors. It's because of the help. It's because of the incredible law enforcement that we have here in Kern County that protect and represent us. I just want to say thank you. Welcome to the 30th year. Next year, let's make it bigger and better. Thank you. Chief Lyle.
Thank you, Angela. This was Angela's brainchild, by the way. As I looked out here, I was very humbled. 2 weeks ago, I was in Orlando at the International Association of Chiefs of Police Conference, and we were in a discussion where there was quite a few chiefs who were disheartened by the support that they get from law enforcement, and my response was, well, you're not from Kern County. Huh? Look around here. We have the support. So I invited a couple of them out, and a couple of them I told them stay right where you are, but that's different. That's a different story for a different time. If you're involved in law enforcement, whether sworn or professional staff, please stand so we can recognize you. Thank you. I'm sure we're going to forget somebody, but we had lots of folks up here with lots of eyes. We're going to try to recognize some folks. Some have already been recognized, as our Honorable Mayor Go. Assemblyman Vince Fong. Where are you, Vince? There we go. Assemblyman Rudy Salas. Yep. Senator Jean Fuller. Senator Andy Vidak. I know I saw Andy here somewhere. And Shafter Mayor Kathy Prout. Where are you? Go Generals. We have staff members here from Congressman McCarthy's office, as well as Congressman Valadeo's office. There's Perry. Perry's everywhere. DA-elect Cindy Zimmer. Can't forget all my bosses. The Bakersfield City Council. I know specifically I saw Chris Parlier. Judge David Wolf. And the presiding Judge Bremer. I think I saw him here somewhere as well. So thank you all for your support. We appreciate all that you do, and I think we're going to get to the part that you actually came here for, other than listening to me stand up here and thank all of the politicians. So the man who needs no introduction, he's the second most important law enforcement officer in this county, my brother, Don Youngblood.
They didn't teach them to count at South High, just so you know. Thank you all for being here, and I don't want to go over what Lyle just said about the appreciation for law enforcement, but it must be said that this county is unique. It really is. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support that we get from our community. There is a negative aspect of all communities, but it's very, very small in Kern County. And God bless you and thank you for that, because these officers need that and they deserve that. So thank you very much. And thank you. We have a special guest tonight that I've known for several years, and I gave him a call and I said, would you mind coming and speaking, giving us a little 15-minute motivational speech about maybe your life or what's important. And when you see him, you'll realize that I've been asked, we're not twins, we're really not. I don't look anything like Arnold Schwarzenegger, come on. But he's a reserve deputy in Los Angeles County, or in San Luis Obispo County. He's in search and rescue in Los Angeles County. And, you know, I got to tell you, I want to put this guy on a helicopter in Kern County and go out when somebody's injured or lost in the mountains, and I want to run him down that long line, and I want the guy to look up and say, what the hell? And he's going to be wearing a green suit. Think about it. That's awesome, isn't it? Lou Ferrigno is a special guy. He really is. You're going to hear from him about, well, I won't tell you what you're going to hear from him because I'll let him do that. But he's really, really, I'm so appreciative of the fact that he drove all the way from where he lives to Kern County. Tomorrow he has to get up and drive to Santa Clara County. And but he took the time to be here, and I just want to thank him very much and introduce you to my friend, the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno.
That was a great speech. I'll pay you later. Well, here I am. Anyway, I want to thank you all of you coming tonight, because you guys make the show tonight. And thank you for coming, for your support, which is very important. I appreciate it. And also I want to thank Sheriff Youngblood for inviting me here, because I want to show my support of this department, because I've been a deputy for the last 15 years. And to me, it's very important because my father was the NYPD lieutenant. And it was funny, when I was a kid, I remember one time he said to me, I have to qualify. I said, what do you mean by qualified? He said, come with me. He went downstairs at the police department, and I remember he had a target, and he fired like 6 shots. And then he brings the target close to him. When I see the target come about 3 feet from me, there are 2 holes here and 2 holes here. And he said, if you ever misbehave, the same's going to happen to you. Then I realized I should get involved in law enforcement. I'm not the kind of guy that just lays around by the sideline. I do a lot of work with the Sheriff's Department, search and rescue, weapons shooting, DUI, checkpoint. But I can go on all night talking, but I really want to relate to you tonight about myself, because I came from nothing. I've been knocked down so many times. When I was born close to birth, I lost like 75% of my hearing. I had a severe speech impediment and a severe hearing loss, profound. So, you know, kids would make fun of me. They used to call me deaf mute, deaf Louie. But the reason why I'm telling you this, because I felt like nobody would give me any confidence or respect, but I was a fighter. So as a kid, I realized I was obsessed with power. I used to read a lot of comic books, because I used to envision myself being Hercules, being the Incredible Hulk and Superman, because I was like a real-life Walter Mitty. I used to fantasize what I wanted to be, because in my whole life I kept hearing what if, because I had a very severe love and hate relationship with my father. My father rejected me because I was not the perfect son. But here I am, carrying his pain. And I said to myself, as a little kid, I said, do I feel sorry for myself? What direction do I take? Because, being made fun of, I mean, I had nobody to pat myself on the shoulder. So one day, I bought a lot of comic books. I used to trade comic books for comic books. So one day I went to a comic book store, and there was a magazine on the newsstand, and it was a blonde-haired guy named Dave Draper with a chest coat. And I looked at the magazine, and I said to myself, wow, Mr. Universe, because as a kid I used to watch Mr. Universe, Miss America, but I said Mr. Universe. So I took the magazine home and read everything about bodybuilding training. But unfortunately, I traded all the original Hulk comic books because if I saved them, I'll be able to buy this building now. But anyway, I learned everything about bodybuilding. So as a kid, I was, with my wife, I was poor as a kid, and I couldn't afford weights. So what I did, I remember a friend of mine had weights, so what I did, I bought 2 cement buckets. I went to the junkyard, and I found extra buckets. I filled with cement, and I put a broomstick in it, and I remember I made my first barbell. I'll never forget when I grabbed it and I started to lift it, it gave me such a good feeling about myself. And I realized this is going to help me to find my passion. You see, every one of you out here has a passion. And you have to embrace your passion because our life is all about overcoming fear. In my life, there was a lot of fears. I've learned to overcome fear. You see, I'm telling you this because you want to embrace your fear. We all have fear. If I didn't embrace my fears when I was a kid, I wouldn't be what I am now. So I realized that power and strength was my connection. So I got involved bodybuilding, weight training. I told people I wanted to be Mr. Universe, Mr. America. People laughed at me. All the naysayers, they said, you can't, you're not perfect, you're this. But I just loved my passion. Like you could be passionate about a shoe or about a building or something, but it's so important because you know what the #1 fear in life is? People would rather die, accept death. It's public speaking. Believe it or not, because you'd be surprised who dealing with public speaking. So as a kid, I've always wanted to be a public speaker. I wanted to be this and this. But all the naysayers say you can't. But I believe in myself. That's why I'm telling you it's important to believe in yourself because I took the best from my parents. I didn't have the perfect father, but I took the best because it's all about positive living, positive light. And you have to really take those fears and minimize it. You have to embrace those fears. That's what I did. Because life is so short. We're here for a short time. We're not going to live to be 200 or 300 years. It's so important to enjoy every day. And that's why I learned to connect the mind with the body, because it's so important to pay attention to yourself working out. And that's why growing up as a kid, dealing with adversity, I kept believing, saying to myself, you can do this. And slowly, what's interesting is that if you talked to me when I was 15, 16, people couldn't understand what I was saying. So I had to put marbles on my mouth to learn how to speak and articulate properly. Because everyone that said I couldn't, I've learned to maximize my personal power, meaning you want to be the best you can be with your capacity. You cannot compete with other people. You have to learn to compete with yourself because that's the only way you're going to succeed. Like people want to start a business. They're afraid to start a business because they're afraid to fail. Everybody's afraid to fail. You're dealing with rejection. So I would say start a small business. You see, a lot of us have this comfort zone inside of us. And we put our own limitation to us. The reason why I'm telling you this is because in life, there's nothing you can't accomplish if you put your mind to it and take an action. So it's important, though, that your mindset, I can tell you how many people I talk to that talk fake confidence, sitting at the dinner table, bragging about this, but not taking action because they have these fears. They want to be successful, but they're afraid to take action to deal with it. I wasn't afraid. I was knocked down. I'm going to get up and do it again. you fail, you succeed. Sometimes in business, it takes 7 no's to get a yes. So growing up as a kid, I ended up winning my first competition, Teenage Miss America. I'll never forget when I went on stage and I started to pose. Back then, you know, bodybuilding was like a shallow sport. I never told anyone I wanted to be an actor. But it's interesting, as time went on, I won the Miss America, Miss Universe competition, and I was in the world's strongest man. I've done everything I wanted to do. But I've always been fascinated with law enforcement because my father always said to me, people said, to be a police officer requires certain requirement. So 15 years ago, I was talking to the sheriff back then in L.A. I told him how much I like law enforcement. He said, why don't you go through the academy? I didn't want to be honorary. I wanted to be the real deal. So I took 6 months off, went through the academy. I'm dealing with guys half my age. I ended up being the highest grade in class. I ended up shooting better than everybody shot in my class because they kept saying, oh, this old guy coming to class, he can't do it, he can. But I proved to be the #1 deputy in my class. That's what I'm saying to you when you have a passion about something, embrace it 100% because there's no stopping. So as time went on, I became a bodybuilding champion, and I decided I wanted to be an actor. And I get all the limitations saying, well, you don't have perfect speech, you don't have perfect hearing, blah, blah, blah. I refused to believe that. So one day the phone rang, and then I had an audition for the Hulk. And I said to myself, oh, wow, I got to win this audition. I went down for the audition, I won the part, and the rest is history. From then, I ended up doing different stage plays and movies and television. I've done 5 TV series, over 40 films as of now. And I'm very proud of it. And I became a worldwide motivational speaker. So when I say to all of you, you have those fears inside of you, take action. You see, fear is so powerful. If you don't deal with those fears, it can lead to depression, anxiety. For example, I was bullied my whole life. And I teach a lot of people about bullying. When you're bullying, go after the bully. Don't be victimized. Take action. So many people afraid to take action. But fear is the #1 dominant emotion in life that we have to overcome. Because I never wanted to sit around and say, at the age of 85, say, I should have. It's never too late to take action. It's never too late to change your relationship with people. It's never too late to change your job situation. And it's never too late to change your attitude about life. And so many people out there, for example, they have addiction, like, for example, smoking, drinking, or consume huge amounts of alcohol because they feel bad about themselves and they can't deal with the fear factor. I keep stipulating, talk about this fear because that's the only way we become successful and feel the best about ourselves. I would suggest any of you have fears, just write down those fears because it's hard to eliminate it, just minimize it. I'll give you a perfect example. I trained many people over the years. I trained Michael Jackson, Chuck Norris, movie stars. One time I had a girl come to me, and she was overweight. And she said she wanted to lose weight. I did a little consultation. So I trained her for about a month and a half, and I demand results. So one day, by surprise, she said to me, she said, I can't lose weight. I told her what to do. So by surprise, the next day, she pulls up in front of my house. She didn't see me walking outside. So I walked up, she opened the door, I see about 10 Dunkin' Donuts falling out down the street. I'm counting every donut. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, she started to cry. Because she said to me her father was in the Holocaust. And she was afraid of changing, afraid to be successful. There's so many individuals, they're afraid to lose weight because they're afraid to handle the new threshold of life, like smaller clothing and the environment, and they hit a wall, they go backward. So I'm giving you a little idea that you want to go beyond that wall. You want to be successful. Like, for example, over here we have so many different officers from different counties. They put their lives out there for us. They really care about the people. There's so much negativity from the media saying cops, deputies, highway patrol, abuse of all that kind of stuff. But these guys do it because of their passion. They want to take care of law enforcement, protecting life and property. Everybody has this passion. So in myself, I could tell you so many stories because as a kid, I used to watch the Superman series when I used to come home from school. And you know, as a kid, you believe that Superman's real. So one time on the second story of my house, I put a red blanket around my neck, and I jumped out of the window. It came down, almost broke my leg. And I said, this is the end of Superman. So, but it's funny, just give you a scenario of my whole life. But what I'm trying to direct to you, it's all about your passion. Just embrace your passion, and there's nothing that will stop you. I'm going to give you another story. I've always fantasized in being powerful and strong, so I made a mistake one time in my life. I was about 21 years old. I was training for the Mr. Universe competition. I was in Brooklyn, New York, and I had to get a suntan. At the time, I was driving a Green Beetle Volkswagen. So people thought I took the front seat out and sat in the back seat because I was like 280 pounds. So one day I drive to the beach. I had to get a suntan. So anyway, I drive it down to the beach. I can't find a parking spot. I'm driving around 2 times, no parking spot. So I parked my car. I saw a small Datsun B210. So I parked my Volkswagen just behind it. I got out of the car. I lifted the front of the car 1 foot towards the middle of the street, and then went back of it. I did a continuous play through that car with the middle of the street. Then I parked my Volkswagen right into the spot. And then the rabbi comes running up, a short, heavy guy, starts screaming and yelling at me, how dare you take my parking spot, top of his lung. At the same time, there was a police car pulled up, and the officer gets out of the car, and he sees this big guy, me, getting yelled at by this small rabbi, and he's screaming, he's yelling. The officer gave the rabbi a ticket for double parking. He gave him a second ticket for disturbing the peace. And then he gave him a third ticket for assaulting a police officer. But I got my suntan. It's all about taking action. Now, before I finish, I want to talk about exercising, working out. How many of you here work out for fitness? Raise your hand. That's it? Hey, you got to get off your butt. You got to exercise, do something, do walking, something, because, you know, I have both knees and both hips replaced. I wore my joints out. I still train every day. I watch how I eat. It's important that how you eat, because you want to fill the mind with the proper nutrition to be successful in anything you want to do. Because if you overindulge yourself in the bad food, it's not going to work. There's a famous saying, and remember this long as you live. You could do all the cardio from the womb to the tomb, but in order to control the to change the fat, you have to control the fork and spoon to lose the fat. That's all it takes. So lately, I've been involved with different communities because the sheriff department, you know, we have like 600 deputies also reserved. I put about 30, 40 hours a month with the sheriff department, because I do a lot of search and rescue. So one time I do a lot of search and rescue with the AR-5 helicopter. So we're trained to handle ice and snow. So one time there was a woman, I heard in the radio, apparently I think she broke her leg, so we had to lower down the basket. I decided to go down to grab her and then assist her in the helicopter because it was on the side of a mountain. So as I'm going down, she opens her eyes, she sees me, and she goes, oh my God, the Incredible Hulk, and she faints. And I'm saying to myself, I'm hanging 40 feet from the helicopter, and this woman faints. What do I do now? It was so funny because funny story happened. But I just want to say I just enjoy so much protecting life and property. I'm happy to share some stories here with you. Thank you so much for coming. And this guy, let's give him a big, big hand because he's a great show.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you very, very much. Can you imagine being in an academy, a young recruit, and have this guy standing next to you in the rain saying, I'm going to be number one. I'm going to sling some rounds everywhere just so I don't beat him. You know, when I invited Lou here, and he accepted. I was talking to the girls in the office, and one of them's a millennial. It's not a dirty word most of the time. And I asked her, I said, do you know who Lou Ferrigno is? And she goes, absolutely. He was on King of Queens. I said, yeah, for 7 years he was on King of Queens, but he was the Incredible Hulk. And she goes, huh? Oh, my God. Thank you, Lou. That was absolutely awesome. We really, really appreciate that. Next up, I'd like to invite up our future senator, former assemblywoman. You know, we didn't introduce her because we were going to give her time to make a presentation. Shannon Grove, please come up. And as Shannon tells the story, she is the second most popular elected official in Kern County.
So will you stay up here? Sure. So I'm going to have Donnie and Lou join me up here. We have an award to give out tonight. But first I have to ask Donnie, because everybody has complimented my new silver shoes except you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. What time do you have to have them back?
So I just want to tell you guys that this is my understanding that this is the very first time this award has ever been given out in the history of Kern Law Enforcement Foundation. Donnie and I know this person, and this person that is going to get this award for the very first time is a very effective leader, as he has strong values and he's a phenomenal, straightforward communicator. I've had the honor of working with this individual in law enforcement for the past 7 years, and I'm just honored that I'm able to help present this award tonight. This person is always responsive, always willing to solve problems with real solutions, participates in community events, and never settles for the status quo. Donnie knows this person. He's had the opportunity to be personally engaged with this person, and I just know that. Did you want to say anything?
I don't know who it is.
You didn't get the script?
Me? No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No. Please.
Did you not? You want me to just continue
Yes,
then?
please.
You didn't get the script,
I did
really?
not.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We're winging it. We're winging it.
Anyway, so Donnie, I think, agrees with me, since he doesn't know who it is, and I'm sorry he didn't get the script, but I think Donnie agrees with me. The committee made a very, very good decision on who this person would be. So Lou and I are just going to allow Donnie to present the recipient with this award. It's a gun given to this recipient by Cindy at Bear Mountain Sports. Cindy, thank you very much for always making sure that you take care of our community, so thank you. So this beautiful gun is a gift, and it's going to be given to the recipient. So we can put the recipient's photo up on the screen, and we'll have Donnie present the award. We wanted to surprise Donnie, and we couldn't figure out a way to do it. So in the middle of chaos, I came up to him and I said, hey, I've got this script. Are you ready to present the award? He goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, just wing it and go with it. And he said, okay. And these individuals in the audience and this entire committee wanted to honor you because you are a 4-term sheriff, and you deeply care about this community. Deeply care about this community. Public safety is always #1 for you, and making sure that your team is taken care of. And it's been an honor to work with you. And despite his lie earlier, he is the second most popular politician in this county.
Thank you very much. I really don't know what to say, but what I will say, in the words of my other friend, the famous Mr. Merle Haggard, thank you.
It's not easy being a sheriff, and I'm very honored that you're a friend of him, because, you know, his background, especially what he's done the last 12 years, and people don't realize today that you're under a microscope when you're a sheriff, and any, you know, mistakes you made always exaggerated. But I've seen this man done so much for the community, and at least I know I will never get a ticket in Bakersfield as long as I live. That's a good thing. So I'm going to say nice things about him. But anyway, I'm very honored, and we have a great man. I just hope that he go be a sheriff to the day he's 90 years old, because we can't lose this guy. This guy is a great guy. The community loves him. He loves people. He cares. That's so important, and God bless him.
I lost my place here. Okay, next up we have a couple of retirees leaving the Kern Law Enforcement Foundation. The first is our Kern County District Attorney, Lisa Green. She will be retiring in January, and her successor, Cindy Zimmer, is down front, and I want to thank Lisa for the work that she's done for our county. She had to follow behind a 7-term District Attorney, Ed Jagels, who is here tonight. So, Lisa, wherever you're at, I don't think she made it tonight, at least earlier. Anyway, Lisa, thank you for what you've done in your service to Kern County. The second person is retiring Chief of Police from Taft, Ed Whiting. Ed was a deputy sheriff early in his career. You know why they're not here? They're retired. It's 8 o'clock. You know what time that is? Time to go to bed. I dozed off there for a second, sorry. Ed was the chief of police in Taft and very well respected, and did a lot of work for us in the county, in the Law Enforcement Association. He was a mainstay. So Ed Whiting, thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite up our esteemed mayor, Karen Go.
So, Lou, I think my dreams are shattered. You mean Superman isn't real? Tonight he is. But you know what? I think there is a superwoman in this audience, and I have the honor of being able to present to Paige Smith. Paige, come on up. The scholarship that your organization is awarding. Paige truly is a superwoman. She has excelled all her life. From a very young age, she was the president at Discovery Elementary and Fruitvale Junior High. In high school, she participated in sports, varsity swim, but she was a champion forensic speech and debate student. And in mock trial, and We the People winning 4th place, her mock trial team participated in an international, world traveler competition, and she served as the captain. If that wasn't enough, she was valedictorian at Centennial High with a perfect 4.5. Sheriff Donnie, did you have a 4.5 GPA? He's not listening, but maybe Lyle did. 4.5 GPA. Paige currently is a senior at California State University, Bakersfield. Go Runners, and she has high aspirations. She's going to graduate early with a bachelor's, a whole year early. And Paige also is the Helen Hawks Honor Program recipient, honor history, fraternity, on and on and on. She volunteers with the Centennial Mock Trial, We the People teams, and she's very involved in her church. Paige serves as vice president of her dorm's hall council, and she volunteered as an intern with the Kern County DA's office. Look out, Cindy Zimmer. She recently scored way at the top. Is this true? Can you do this? 96th percentile of the LSAT. That's pretty good. So it's an honor, gonna be a Stanford alum one of these days, hopefully. And it is my honor to present this to you, Paige, in recognition of your commitment to the Kern County Law Enforcement Scholarship Program. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'll keep this short because Sheriff Youngblood wanted me to, so he could talk more. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that.
I just want to thank the Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation for this honor. It really means a lot to me, especially for the foundation's 30th anniversary. That's 30 years of providing funds and services to law enforcement, and that's really impressive. I'm really honored to be one of the many people that the foundation has helped. I've wanted to go into law since I fell in love with it in mock trial in high school, and now I'm applying to law schools, and so I'm really excited about it. So I just want to thank the foundation for supporting me in my dreams. Thank you.
Next award we have is Citizen of the Year. If Captain Mike Hale could make his way to the stage. Citizen of the Year is someone that we pick every year that as a citizen they've done something to really stand out in our community. And this year's honoree, as you're going to see, is absolutely fantastic.
All right. Thank you. Good evening. It's an honor and it's a privilege to be able to stand up here tonight and represent the Bakersfield Police Department on behalf of Chief Martin and all the officers at the department and every other law enforcement officer in this room in the county. I'm going to tell you a true story that really should be unimaginable, but it happened. I was shocked and in awe when I heard about it. I was at home with my family and I couldn't believe it. This is a story about Mr. Blaine Hodge, a female victim, an assailant, whose lives were changed forever on September 9th, 2018. On that afternoon, unbeknownst to Mr. Hodge, while he was enjoying a drink and some camaraderie with friends at Starbucks on Stockdale Highway here in Bakersfield, there was a fight that started with the female victim and an assailant a couple blocks away. During the fight, officers from the Bakersfield Police Department were summoned to the area in an attempt to locate these individuals. And unbeknownst to this female victim, Mr. Hodge happened to be at Starbucks. A relative of the suspect had called the police department and said that the suspect was chasing the female victim with a machete. Mr. Hodge was surprised when he looked at the door and saw this female come into Starbucks and began yelling, "Help me, help me. This guy's trying to kill me." At this time, Mr. Hodge observed the suspect come into the business, Starbucks, armed with a machete, and had to watch the suspect begin stabbing the victim. Mr. Hodge selflessly jumped into action by approaching Rivas and pushed him off balance. In retaliation, the suspect, Rivas, swung the machete several times at Mr. Hodge in a stabbing and slashing motion and struck him. This created distance between the suspect and the female victim and allowed Mr. Hodge to exit the business with the suspect in pursuit. Eventually, the suspect departed from Mr. Hodge and ran into the neighborhood and was located shortly after by law enforcement. Mr. Hodge received several injuries to his chest, his hand, his forearm, and his knee because of his heroic actions. When I think about Mr. Blaine Hodge, one word seems to stick out, and that word is hero. A hero is an ordinary person who faces extraordinary circumstances and acts with courage, honor, and self-sacrifice. Mr. Hodge, you are a hero. Mr. Blaine Hodge, on behalf of the Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation, I want to thank you for your outstanding contribution to law enforcement through acts of valor, heroism, and personal initiative. Thank you for risking everything for a stranger. It is for these reasons, Mr. Blaine Hodge, you are the recipient of the Citizens of the Year Award. Congratulations.
Hi, how are you guys doing tonight? I just wanted to say a couple things to maybe provide you guys with a little insight. Especially, this is something that this event in particular taught me. You only live one time, you guys. Once. Like, that's it. There's a point in the Starbucks when I was just like, dang, am I going to die in here? Nah, you know, like, I gotta get up, you know? I gotta get up, you know, and I did, and I ended up making it out, but it really, like, you know, this is real, you know? This is a real thing. This is never gonna go away. You live one time, and it really just taught me something, because I always wondered, you know, what's the price on a human life, you know? What is it? You know, we don't even really know, you know? There's no way to really put a price on it, and I really realized that in that moment when I saw her and how afraid she was, the fear in her eyes. I didn't care how much it costed, you know? So really take that to heart. You got one life. If you got a relationship that isn't going too well, audit it, fix it. You know what you need to do. If something's not going well at work, maybe that's just not the thing that you need to be doing. Maybe it is, and you just need to work harder. Really give it your all. You only got one. It's a real thing, and I understand that now. I understand a lot of different things that I didn't understand before. So that's all I got. But really, just live it to the fullest. Okay? I love you guys.
I'll walk this back. I got a coin for you. My coin. I'll put it in your pocket. My phone. You're awesome. You're awesome. What a fantastic award for a fantastic human being. You know, even being in law enforcement, I just read about this case, but I followed it, just like the rest of you, because it's part of us. It's part of our community. And we have a whole community full of people that are willing to do things above and beyond. But this is just fantastic, spectacular. Thank you very much. The next award, well, first of all, there's 3 people here tonight that helped guide me in my childhood. I had 3 older sisters, and they're all here tonight. I just wanted them to just... My dad would have been here tonight. He'll be 93 in December, but he just got married and bought a house, and he thought he ought to stay home with the bride. So, and that is a true story. Our next award, Businessman of the Year. If you're in the audience and you've been awarded this before, please stand up so we can honor you again for Business People of the Year, Business Person of the Year. This is a huge award. Randy Harden, thank you for what you've done for this association. The next person that's going to get this award is another good friend of mine. I met him along the campaign trail early on, and he wasn't for me, just so you know. He wasn't, but I turned him. I turned him, and we became really, really good friends, and he's been so supportive of law enforcement, the Law Enforcement Foundation, and me as the sheriff. Stan Ellis, please come up. You don't get a gun, but you get this. It's beautiful. If you can't see it, but you need to see this before you leave tonight, because that is Kern County. So Stan, thank you. It is.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Donnie Youngblood. Thank you for all the officers that serve our community and protect us. We appreciate you very much. Thanks.
Next award is Community Involvement Award, and I'd like to invite up Lieutenant Curtis Fourier from the California Highway Patrol.
Good evening. It's my pleasure and honor to present an award this evening to somebody who has really changed law enforcement for us. I work in Fort Tejon, which is up on the hill of the Grapevine, and we have a small community. You know, we work really close with the Sheriff's Department in everything that we do. And one of the things that we, as law enforcement, really try to do is reach out to the community. And Bakersfield has an awesome community. Kern County has an awesome community that I don't think is anywhere else in the state of California. But the person that we honor today, at least we submit the honor, was for Victor Avila. So Victor, can you come up, please? So I'll talk a little about Victor on his way up. He's actually the safety security manager for IKEA distribution at the bottom of the facility, at the bottom of the Grapevine. So as everybody travels over, right, you see the big IKEA sign. He's actually in charge of all of their security. And so when I came to Fort Tejon back in 2016, he was one of the first ones I was able to meet. And since then, we've had a great partnership. IKEA really cares about the community. They care about their employees. And it really matches with what we feel in law enforcement as far as the community. So we've been able to pair with him a couple of events. One being last year, there's a school in Southwest Bakersfield that IKEA actually collected a bunch of school supplies for internally. And then he called our office and said, hey, look, this would be a great opportunity for law enforcement to come out and meet some of these kids. And obviously, we're always trying to do that, right, and get in touch with the community and get in touch with especially the kids, because we're going to see them again in the future. And we want to, start building that relationship now. And so he was able to do that. The second thing that he really did was this same community, it was a brand new school, and they didn't have any money to go on a field trip. And he said, Curtis, I got an opportunity for you. And as we're talking, he's telling me about, look, they can't go on a field trip. And we started brainstorming, and he puts us in touch with the principal. And we ended up doing a single safety school day. We were able to bring down our helicopter. We brought in some K9 units. The Sheriff's Department brought some units over. He got the Kern County Fire Department to come in. And we go to do a presentation to all the school. But the school also brought the parents in. So the parents got a chance to interact with us. And with all the difficulty, right, that we've talked about earlier with going through law enforcement throughout the community, we were able to change some people's minds. We were able to show them who we really are, that we're just normal people and that really care about the community, really care about the kids. And so it's my honor to provide the Citizen Community Service Award to Victor Avila.
On behalf of IKEA and myself, I want to thank the California Highway Patrol for their continued support, and thank you for the award.
Thank you very much. Our next award is the Wayne Ketcherside Award. I have the honor of presenting this award tonight. For those of you that don't know who Wayne Ketcherside was, he was in this foundation association for almost the beginning. He donated every year something, he and his wife Pat, and he was the epitome of this foundation. And we started this perpetual award about 3 or 4 years ago, and we always award it to someone that we think is represents our association. And Wayne did exactly that. When we rode in the Rose Parade back in, I think, 2011, Wayne and I became really close friends. And, you know, and the parade is, in case you don't know, is about 7 hours from start to finish in the saddle. No breaks. So Wayne suggested to Kim that she should go down and buy a diaper for me because 7 hours just probably isn't going to happen. And she showed up with a size 56 waist. Really? But Wayne was our star in this association. And this year we decided to pick someone else who has been in this association from the beginning and really helped guide this association. But we had more than one person. So we waited back and forth, and we finally decided we'll just award both of them the Wayne Ketcherside Award. And these two people had a great deal of influence on who I am today and my career. Tom Sheets and Frank Williams.
She had me working on getting him. 30 years ago, the then sheriff, who was John Smith, came up with this idea because Orange County had a foundation. And we went down and looked at it, and they have a fake town, and they have a lot of money in Orange County. And I was impressed. All of us that went down there was impressed. And we formed a board and we formed a foundation. It started out as the Kern County Sheriff's Advisory Council. And now we're the foundation, and we give to 29 agencies. We raised $1,100,000 for law enforcement, about $150,000 or more for scholarships, and it's all volunteers. Many of them are in this room, many of my friends. The last, I don't know how many years, Randy Harden and Angela have been raising with Busby all the money. So that's been nice that I haven't had to do that anymore. But I've been real quiet tonight, trying to keep this a secret from Frank. Both of these played me like a yo-yo. And Frank, you got the award too, so it's your turn.
Well, my friend Tommy got me into this organization for something to do because I'd retired. And then he decided to retire, and I was president for several years. And it takes a lot of people to keep this organization together. It takes people like you in the community. We get financial support, and we spend every dime on law enforcement and kids. At one time, we got in a money was tight back in, I don't know, wait, years ago. Kern Valley Search and Rescue needed a boat, some kind of a boat. And we all got together and we said, okay, we can buy half that boat. That's all we had. And they raised the other half. And so it's like a business or anything else. You go through good times and sometimes, you know, things are tight. But this organization has stayed together through the hard work of everybody here and past members and past presidents. John Busby was one. And I'm just so proud to sit on this stage and be with these people. So thank you very much for what you do.
I'd like to invite up now our new district attorney. She takes office January, I don't know what day it is, same day I get sworn in again, I think. I don't want to forget that. Cindy Zimmer is our new district attorney. We're really, really proud of her. And Cindy's going to present the Special Impact Award.
Good evening. I am very honored to have this opportunity to present this award to a prosecutor who handled a case that involved a crime that caused immeasurable grief to the victim's family, to members of the Bakersfield Police Department, to the law enforcement community, and to citizens in this county. On June 26 of 2015, Julian Hernandez borrowed a gray Hyundai Elantra and took off the license plates. He got a shotgun and he put a flashlight on the barrel of that shotgun, got in the car and set off in Bakersfield. At 2:30 a.m., Bakersfield police officer David Nelson saw that car without the plates and initiated a traffic stop. It occurred on Haley Street, and Julian Hernandez initially stopped the car. Officer Nelson began to approach, but Julian Hernandez took off, and Officer Nelson pursued him. And Julian Hernandez led the officer on a very, very dangerous chase. Julian Hernandez proceeded north on Haley and then east on Panorama. And Officer Nelson followed him. He followed him with lights and sirens. As Officer Nelson came to a bend in the road on Panorama Drive, he lost control of his car, and his car slid into a brick wall, and he lost his life. Julian Hernandez escaped that night. But the Bakersfield Police Department investigated the case and determined Julian Hernandez was the person driving that car, and within a couple of days, he was arrested. A criminal complaint was filed by the district attorney's office charging vehicular manslaughter. And James Simpson, the supervising deputy DA, was assigned the case. Mr. Simpson worked with me in the gang unit for many years, and every time a peace officer was the victim of a violent crime or a shooting, Jim Simpson would ask me for the case. And he explained to me, I want some practice. I want to get good at this because in the years to come, it will likely occur that a peace officer will lose his life, and I want to be ready to handle the case. Well, Mr. Simpson was the perfect choice for this case. He took the case, he got ready immediately on it, he went to court, and he amended the charges from vehicular manslaughter to second-degree murder, which carries a greater penalty. Jim knew this was going to be a difficult case in order to get a conviction on second-degree murder. Would a jury convict a defendant of implied malice murder who did not actually crash into the victim? There was no case, published case in California on this. And he worked very, very hard. He worked countless hours with Bakersfield Police Sergeant James Moore and Detective Jared Dietrich on the case, and he meticulously prepared the case. And on April 5th of 2018, after 2 years of delays and a very lengthy and complicated trial, a Kern County jury convicted Julian Hernandez of second-degree murder of the killing of Officer David Nelson. I'd like to show you a video that Mr. Simpson put together that he showed to his jury in closing argument. It's video from several locations along the pursuit route.
Miller, Flowers, nice and silver, Hyundai. Northbound Haley. I'll be in pursuit.
10.33 on channel 1, put the 3 channel 1. Haley and Monterey. Additional unit.
Metro 2.
Metro 225. I have 4.
1, speed approximately 60 miles an hour. Northbound Haley approaching Drury Lane.
Capital 4, unit to copy.
Oliver 13, copy. What's the offense? Offense is CBC violation. No pedestrian. Speed approximately 75 miles an hour. Northbound Haley to passing Columbus.
Copy, continuing northbound passing Columbus.
L1, no pedestrian. Light traffic. Speed approximately 75 miles an hour. Northbound Haley, approaching Panorama.
Continuing northbound Haley, approaching Panorama. No pedestrians, light traffic.
101, the eastbound Panorama.
Copy, eastbound Panorama.
101, no pedestrians, no traffic. Speed approximately 75 miles an hour.
Copy, no pedestrians, no traffic. Speed at 75.
Oliver 13, provide an update.
L1 update.
L4101 is 901T, Mount Vernon and Panorama.
10.13, copy.
I was 101, start medical aid.
105, there, route.
On May 4th of 2018, Julian Hernandez was sentenced to 31 years to life in state prison. Had prosecutor James Simpson only pursued a vehicular manslaughter charge rather than murder, Julian Hernandez would be out of custody today. The extraordinary work done in this case by prosecutor James Simpson and the team of investigators from the Bakersfield Police Department have had a tremendous impact on the safety of this community. While we still grieve for Officer David Nelson, we can thank Jim Simpson for obtaining justice and holding the killer accountable for his cowardly yet deadly actions. James Simpson, would you come forward, please? Congratulations.
Thank you very much, everyone. With cases like these, I think obviously it's important to recognize that they are like any case, by no means a one-man show. They are, at the end of the day, the culmination of the hard work of the men and women of the law enforcement agencies that put these cases together. And I think, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is when we think of the work that is done by the law enforcement officers in our community, we think of them in uniform, out on their shift, doing their jobs. But when I was preparing this case, the vast majority of the conversations that I have with officers, actually in most cases that I prosecute, are conversations that I have with them when they're at home at the dinner table with their family, in the middle of the night when they're trying to get rest for the next day's work. And that's true on just about all cases. In this case, this award, while I'm happy to accept it, certainly is more of a testament to the hard work of the well over 100 officers that put time and energy into this case. There were officers, far too many to mention, that some of which Cindy Zimmer mentioned, Jared Diedrich and Jim Moore, who, for all intents and purposes, we were roommates for the duration of this trial, and they spent every waking moment helping me prepare the case. And so, as is the case with all cases where we see success standing on the shoulders of giants, giants like the Bakersfield Police Department, CHP's May team, Jared Diedrich, Jim Moore, Carla Pearson, other DAs in the DA's office, Cynthia Zimmer. And so it really, this was the culmination of the work that they put in. So thank you very much.
Great job, man. Awesome. Before I forget, this is our first year at this venue, and Angela Barton put this together. And I don't know about you, but this is pretty spectacular. And Angela, thank you very much. All right, we're getting close to the end, so bear with us just a few more minutes. The next award will be given by Mike Hale of the Bakersfield Police Department, Act of Valor Award.
I don't know if I should walk up to the mic or not. I was going to, but I will. All right, I see those guys over there. I'm going to have them come up here. If I could get Officer Josh Dudenshire and Officer Matt Johnson, you guys come on up here, please, so everybody can see you. For those of you that don't know what this podium looks like, it says, "Please do not touch microphone. Thank you." So I feel like I'm going to get in trouble every time I touch it. But I saw the Hulk touch it about 15 times, so I think I'll be okay. All right. It's my honor and privilege to be able to present the Acts of Valor Award to these two officers behind me here. Officers Dudenshire and Johnson are two of the humblest officers that I know, not only at the police department, but in the law enforcement profession. On a daily basis, officers run towards danger and will tell you, "I was just doing my job," regardless of the circumstances. Law enforcement personnel, which includes family, often live and breathe the worst of the worst in our society and are not always recognized publicly for their actions. I'm going to steal a few words from Chief Lyle Martin and the Bakersfield Californian that comes from a Community Voices article that I found the other day back in June of 2017. And it stemmed from the police department's effort to show the community why we wear the badge. So I'm going to quote Chief Martin here. It's going to be a long quote, so bear with me. Chief Martin says, "Would you risk your life for your child? Of course you would. That's not very impressive, though. Most people would do anything for their kids. Just visit the soccer fields on any Saturday." Let's try again. Would you risk your life for your brother or sister? That one might have made you think a bit more. Which brother? Because the younger one can be kind of a jerk, and the sister, well. And how much risk exactly? Okay, fair enough. It's complicated. One more question. Would you risk your life for a total stranger? Keep in mind that this stranger may not be an angel. He or she may be a bad person in many ways. Maybe a drunk, maybe a felon. May have a long history of very, very bad things. Most important, you don't get to choose which stranger. If you lose your life trying to save this person, your family and kids will miss you just as theirs. So would you risk your life? Our first responders do it every day. So, on the night of August 30th, 2017, Officers Josh Dudinger and Matt Johnson became involved in an altercation along with a family that forever changed all of their lives. While they were working uniform patrol at a little after 9 p.m., Officer Dudinger and Johnson were dispatched to a peace disturbance at 601 Pacheco Road, which is a mobile home park, and it involved a subject armed with a gun. On their arrival, they contacted the reporting party, who told them that her adult son and nephew had become involved in a verbal and physical altercation, and at this time they had calmed down and everything was okay. The reporting party was concerned for her family, specifically the nephew, and asked that the officers go inside the residence and talk to him, see if they could help him. To help paint a little bit of picture, this was a mobile home, and it's very tight quarters inside. So Officers Dudinger and Johnson make their way into this residence, where they find the nephew seated on a couch. He was visibly upset. The officers had obvious concerns and believed that possibly this nephew was armed. They explained to him and asked if they could search him for weapons, but he refused. During this time, the nephew was becoming more agitated, while at the same time, the woman who called was repeatedly and frantically asking her nephew if he had something on him. With the officer's suspicion growing, they decided to search him for weapons. When the officers moved towards the nephew stood up, reached for his waistband, turned towards the officers, and began firing a gun towards the officers, striking both of them. Even though Officer Dudinger was struck in the neck, his jaw, and his arm, he quickly repositioned himself to avoid being struck again by gunfire, with the hopes of being able to return gunfire. However, due to the positioning of Officer Johnson and the suspect, Officer Dudinger couldn't fire because there was a crossfire situation. At about this time, Officer Johnson was now exchanging gunfire with the nephew, at which time they both fell to the floor, where the gunfight continued momentarily. All the while, Officer Johnson was struck in the chest, his duty belt, and his arm. When Officer Johnson determined the threat from the nephew had stopped, he yelled out to Officer Dudinger and learned that Officer Dudinger was injured to the point that he was unable to move. Despite their injuries that they sustained, they were able to communicate with each other and guide fellow officers to the residence and coordinate an evacuation of the uninjured family members. I have a hard time giving recognition only to Officer Dudinger and Johnson, and I'd bet money that they feel the same way. So I'd like to take this opportunity to give a huge shout out to the Bakersfield police officers who were the first responders there and provided emergency medical care, Hall Ambulance personnel, Bakersfield City Fire Department, and Bakersfield Police Department training staff, as well as the communications center. All of these personnel surely affected the outcome that night. Officer Dudenshire and Johnson demonstrated great personal courage. They acted gallantly and professionally with their actions, which added to their safety and the safety of the family members of the nephew. Their actions were consistent with the highest standards, ethics, ideals, and tradition of the law enforcement profession. That night, Officers Dudenshire and Johnson risked their lives for a stranger. It is for these reasons I am honored to present on behalf of the Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation the Acts of Valor or Heroism Award by a law enforcement officer to Officer Josh Dudenshire and Officer Matt Johnson. They said that Captain Hale covered it really well, so they don't want to speak, but I think we missed something. You may have seen that we're handing them these other documents here, so they're also getting a certificate of recognition from the mayor, from Congressman Valadao, Congressman McCarthy, Gene Fuller's office. Man, you guys all kinds of stuff here. Vince Fong. I know Andy's got one in here. What kind of a signature is that? The Honorable Andy Vidak. And Rudy Salas. So they're all, every one of the awardees is getting one of these. Thank you to all of our elected officials for your contribution.
Thanks, Lyle. Our next to last award is for the unsung heroes in law enforcement. The people who receive the least amount of recognition and probably do the most work. If you listen to that audio a few minutes ago, you heard a dispatcher calling for the officer to respond. He never did. Dispatcher of the Year, Captain Jerry Grimes. Please come up and make this presentation. We in law enforcement deal with tragedy. We go home, we deal with it over and over. Dispatchers, they don't see it, they don't feel it, they just know it didn't work out. In that case, that dispatcher had to go home knowing that that officer was never going to respond.
Come on up, Oliva. Tonight we'd like to recognize dispatcher Oliva Bailon. With over 10 years of experience, Oliva is a veteran dispatcher who regularly displays a commitment to quality public service through her character and team-driven attitude. Oliva has a very clear understanding of the critical role that the dispatcher has, and she gives each caller the attention necessary to address whatever their emergency or need is, as if she had a personal vested interest in the outcome. And although there's not one single event that can adequately summarize this professional dedication, Oliva's positive attitude and selfless demeanor are regularly voiced by her supervisors during performance reviews, but more importantly, by her peers. It was her peers that joined together and nominated her for this award, and I think that says a lot about who she is. They selected her because of her hard work, kindness, loyalty, and dedication to her profession. She's most well known and recognized for the amount of overtime that they put in, countlessly trying to cover and make sure that the phones are answered and that callers receive a voice at the other end. If you can imagine, over the last year, Oliva has answered 31,000 incoming calls. That's kind of hard to fathom. This is assisting the public, other officers, allied agencies, anybody who calls the phone. She is ready and willing to pick it up and provide assistance. She is excellent in achieving the balance between output of quality service without compromising our department values. As Chief Martin says, the Bakersfield Police Department is a problem-solving organization with an emphasis on customer service, and Oliva epitomizes that motto. She's able to handle difficult and high-stress situations with a great degree of patience and tact. One incident that was noted was in October of 2017, when she was operating the primary radio channel of the Bakersfield Police Department. She had what started out as a routine traffic stop, and it quickly escalated when one of the occupants fled from the vehicle on foot into a nearby elementary school, reportedly with a weapon, with a firearm. At the same time, the vehicle fled with the remaining occupants. Amidst all this chaos, Oliva was able to remain calm and simultaneously handled both pursuits, seamlessly directing responding personnel, coordinating the lockdown of the school, and relaying pertinent information to field units. Like she has in countless other incidents, her actions were directly responsible for the apprehension of the suspect, the recovery of the stolen vehicle, and most importantly, that preservation of public peace. Whether she's operating the radio channel or taking a hot call, Oliva is consistently professional and courteous to the public and fellow members of the organization and all the law enforcement community that calls up there. This ability to remain calm creates a very soothing environment that improves morale amongst her coworkers and is extremely contagious. In this time, as everybody's mentioned, when we face increasing demands and constant social challenges, employees of Oliva's caliber are difficult to recruit and maintain. And it is for all these reasons stated that I am honored to be able to recognize her for the Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation's 2018 Dispatcher of the Year.
I would just like to thank the foundation. I want to thank my family, as well as my second family, my law enforcement family. Thank you.
$31,000 calls. Yet, Lyle, when I called BPD, I get a recording. They have caller ID, I guess. Yeah. Okay, our last award. I'd like to invite up the Undersheriff of the Kern County Sheriff's Office, Brian Wheeler, for the Officer of the Year.
Good evening. It's my honor to give out the Officer of the Year award. And tonight has been a night full of surprises. I think the biggest surprise for most of us is how much the sheriff has stepped away from the mic. But anyway, this next award goes to two officers who are also going to be surprised. So I would like to invite up Deputy Claudia Udi and Deputy Guadalupe Lara. as they make their way up here, I'd like to say that, you know, tonight we've heard about different acts of heroism. And the truth is, in law enforcement and first responders, there are acts of heroism occurring every day, every hour of the day. And the reality is, as law enforcement officers, you never know when that act is going to occur. You never know when you're going to be called on to react in a heroic manner. And oftentimes, as many of you know, you get dispatched to that call for service, and a lot of times, you know, we get going in our mind. They tell us not to get stuck in a rut of exactly what it's going to be, but a lot of times we can't help it. It just happens. And, you know, in this particular case, Deputy Udi and Deputy Lara were dispatched to a vicious dog call, which for a lot of us, you know, depending upon where you work in Bakersfield, Oildale, the east side, it could be, you know, anything from a jogger and a group of angry chihuahuas to an actual vicious dog call, which is unfortunately what these two deputies faced. And not to make light of the situation, because it was very serious. Lives were saved because of their actions. And they didn't know when they got there that they were going to be called to be heroes. On February 23rd, 2018, at approximately 10:56 hours, Deputy Claudia Udi and Deputy Guadalupe Lara were dispatched to a vicious dog call where 3 to 4 dogs were attacking a male subject. Kern County Animal Control Officer Gomez heard the call for service and responded to help them. Deputy Udi, Deputy Lara, and Animal Control Officer Gomez arrived on scene several minutes later. When they arrived, Deputy Udi, Deputy Lara, and the Animal Control Officer Gomez located 2 males being attacked by several pit bulls. One male was lying face down on a concrete driveway behind a locked gate. The other male was in between him and the dog, trying to fight the dogs off. The male on the ground was bleeding profusely, and he was crying for help. He was trying to tell the deputies that he was losing consciousness. Deputy Lara and the animal control officer first tried pepper spray to get the dogs to back off, and it worked for about a minute, but it didn't. So they had to formulate a plan. They went to the car, got bolt cutters, and they made their way through the fence and in between the dogs that were attacking this male on the ground and the other dog who was also trying to help out the guy on the ground but was also being attacked. Deputy Lara grabbed the badly injured male and dragged him down the driveway, out through the fence, and to the sidewalk. Deputy Udi and Animal Control Officer Gomez positioned themselves between the dogs, the other man, and Deputy Lara. The dogs were still trying to attack. The Animal Control Officer pulled out his collapsible baton. The dogs bit the baton. They continued to aggressively approach both Deputy Udi and Animal Control Officer Gomez, and it reached the point where Deputy Udi had to make a decision. She had to protect the lives of all of them, including herself. So she pulled her firearm and she was forced to shoot these dogs. She hit and killed one dog and wounded another, but her actions caused these dogs to back away and to back off, and they were able to get medical aid in for the severely injured person and for the other one, and essentially save their lives. When speaking to Animal Control Officer Gomez about this, he said, I quote, "I firmly believe that if Deputy Udi was not there to take action, I would have been seriously injured or killed. Due to the actions of both Deputies Lara and Udi, the victim was not killed and we were not seriously injured," end quote. Both of the males were taken to the hospital and treated for their injuries. Both survived. However, the one male had significant injuries to his arms and all over his entire body. The second male had wounds to both his arms and his hands. Deputy Udi and Deputy Lara and Animal Control Officer Gomez saved that severely injured man's life. Animal Control Officer Gomez characterized his experience as follows, and I quote again, "This was a dangerous situation. that I hope neither I nor my partners ever have to deal with again. The reality is, it is a possibility, and I would proudly take those same actions alongside those deputies if the need ever arose. Both deputies showed courage to go into that yard, compassion for the victim, and professionalism with me and other emergency responders. Based on the actions of Deputy Udi and Deputy Lara, 2 men were saved. And again, they didn't know it when they were headed to a vicious dog call. So it's my pleasure to award the Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation Officer of the Year Award to Deputies Claudia Udi and Deputy Guadalupe Lara. Congratulations.
He doesn't want to speak, but I just want to say something real quick. I grew up in Wasco, California, and and I wanted to do the Rose Queen pageant so bad. It's like the biggest event there, but unfortunately, we couldn't afford it. And my parents, you know, they're hardworking people out there, and we couldn't afford it. And I really wanted that award because I thought it was just the most amazing award ever, but I was wrong. This one is. So thank you so much.
I'd like to invite up Angela Barton for closing comments.
I want to say, first of all, thank you to everyone once again. We could not do this without the sponsors. Our presenting sponsor is Accelerated Urgent Care. They're unfortunately not here, they're working. Also, below that would be Flaming Skewers, Nabil. Nabil, can you stand up for a moment? Nabil is such a big supporter of Kern County Law Enforcement Foundation. He supports all of our events, and he is always there. He's there for not only our foundation, but the community. Thank you, Nabil. KSI, you in the house? Can you stand up? Right there. Then we also have Sullivan Petroleum, Busby Team, Bear Mountain Sports. And there's a few also that I want to mention. Hat ads are here. Thank you. We know what you do for our community. Thank you very much. And there's a list. The Hardens. It is all of you guys combined. You guys make our community. Special thanks to my committee. Laurel, where are you at? Laurel Shropshire. She did the beautiful designs, flowers. Kim Johns, Kim Barrett. All these ladies. Ladies, just stand up for a moment, please. These were the workers behind the scene, and they made this happen. Big Mike, where are you at? Big Mike's Raging Barbecue. How'd you guys like the food? It was excellent, right? Teen Challenge, the Rabobank team. Adam Miller, are you here? Wonderful to work with. Raymond's Trophies, Freestyle Entertainment, the She Power. You guys were greeted by some really beautiful young ladies as you walked in with the hot pink boas. They were just fabulous. That is the She Power Academy. Arlena, where are you at? Are you still here? She might have taken the girls home, but she did an excellent job. April Photography. Chris Lopez, Magic. Chris, he walked around with the cards. His brother was also involved in law enforcement, and he donated his time for this as well. Now we're getting ready to the auctions. Miss Shannon Grove, can you come up and help me? John Busby, I'm calling you up. We have a couple big items. We have the gun raffle. We also have the rifle down there. Bellissima Medical Aesthetics, she donated a girls' night out basket. It's for like 8 to 10 women, $3,000 worth of whatever treatment you want. She's closing down her facility. She has a DJ. She has music. It's a party. So you ladies can split that. Also, Pat and Kelly Brown, you guys are back there. Jumpstart, they donated a fabulous product too. There's so many wonderful items over there. Once we're done, you guys can check that, but there's a couple things that are just, we need to talk about.
So can I have Stan Ellis come up and help me, please? He's here. Come on up. Businessman of the Year. In case you don't know, Stan's lifelong dream is to be a country music singer, and he plays at the Crystal Palace, and he does do the song The Auctioneer. So even though he probably only knows the words to The Auctioneer, he's going to wing it with me, and we're going to auction off a couple of things. So we do have... Okay, so we have a Henry rifle. So who's going to walk this around? Lorenzo Alvarez, will you come get this and kind of walk it around and be like Vanna? Yes? Please? Okay, so Lorenzo Alvarez is going to walk this around for us. And it's a Henry rifle, a lever action. Can I see it? Is it lever action? Yes, Henry rifle, lever action. Yes. Pardon me? Oh, and Cindy's coming up. Cindy, do you want to come over? Yes. Are you taking it home? Okay, so get a good look at this. You need to know that all the money raised here is for Kern Law Enforcement Foundation, and so we need you to dig big in your pockets to donate. If you do not participate, I do have your names on a list, and we will make sure that we raise money for Kern Law Enforcement Foundation. So I'm going to introduce the Man of the Year, or Businessman of the Year, and Stan Ellison. He's going to start this auction off.
Really, Shannon? Okay, so what's this rifle worth? A limited law enforcement edition. Okay.
And they'll put the logo. The KLE logo will be added to it as well, engraved on it.
Okay, so what's that rifle worth?
Well, it's a limited edition.
Give me an idea here so we got a place to start.
$200.
$200? Are you kidding me? $200, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Bring it up.
We need to start at least 1,000. Come on, where's it? Hey, Lynn, where are you at? Where's Lynn? Is Lynn, my partner Lynn out there? Did he leave? Hey, you do. Kim knows where the credit card is. Okay. All right, let's start at $500. We have 500, 500. Hey, give me 5. We got 500. Randy. Chris Parlier right there, 500. Okay, do we have 600? 600.
Randy.
Hey, 600, 600, 600. Randy, there's 700. We got 700 over here. Anybody over here? 778, 800. Come on, you guys. This is for KLEA. Give us 1,000. Yes, $1,000 bucks. $1,000 right here. $1,000, Chris. Andy Vidak. Doggone it.
Okay, but Andy, that went from 1,000, 1,100. You're at 1,200 right now. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here you. Good job, shit. Hey, she's the one with all the pull. Hey, so anyway, got $1,200, right? 1,200. We're at 13 right here, Randy. 13. Keep it coming, you guys. Come on. Kim, okay.
This side needs to participate. Yeah.
Kim over here at Premier just came up to 13.
So
1,400 right over here. We got 14, 15, 16. Come on, 15, 16, 1,600, 16. Come on, somebody, $1,600, 1,600. We got 1,600 right here. Where'd it go? 1,600. Oh, 1,600 from Premier Equipment Rentals. That's Kim. Okay, that's my company. Hey, whoa, what's going on here? Okay, so let's keep going. Let's try to beat that 1,600. I have a real incentive now. 17, come on. 1,700. Anybody 17? Randy, you got 17? Randy? Got 17?
Now look, this beautiful rifle is coming around right now. Lorenzo Alvarez is holding it up and walking it around. It's a limited edition, and all the money stays here locally for Kern Law Enforcement Foundation. So I need you guys to bid high. Angela, are you happy with that price, or you want to go higher? A little bit more? Okay. Donnie Youngblood says 1,700. I need my auctioneer back.
Okay, 1,700, 7. Who was our last?
18.
Was our last? We got 18 right here from
18
Randy.
right here.
18, okay, 18. Going once. 1,800, 1,800, 1,800. Come on, 1,900, somebody 1,900. Going twice. Sold right there, Randy.
Randy Hardy. Okay, one more. We just have one more. What's the other one? So we're going to have, thank you, Lorenzo, very much. We're going to have Angela Barton come over and describe what this particular item is. This is for the ladies. Okay, so this is a ladies' night out. It's from Belicia Medical Aesthetics. It's a girls' night out. Girls' night to party includes $3,000 worth of treatment that can be split between 8 to 10 women. $3,000 for 8 to 10 women to go to Bellissima Aesthetics and get some things done that you would like to get done. Look at Mia's going to bid. Are you going to bid, Mia?
8 to 10 women, can I go?
Yes, Stanley. It doesn't have to be women. If you men want to get a little Botox right here, you can do that. Donnie and Stan are going to go. You can go with them.
Okay, what's this package worth, Shannon? 3,000?
I don't know. I don't get that done. $3,000.
3,000 bucks. Okay.
$3,000 bucks.
All right, you guys want to make your girlfriends and your wife happy? Get your checkbook out. You know how that. You know the drill, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We know the drill.
We take credit cards.
All right, we're going to start at 2,000, right? 2,000. Somebody offer 2,000. Come on. This is for 8 to 10 girls.
Oh, it's a $5,000 value. This is a $5,000 value, and you guys could split this between your 8 and 10 friends. And she's going to have alcohol, hors d'oeuvres. It'll be fun, right? Angela